Hey, congratulations. You're thinking about buying your first firearm, or you've already purchased your first firearm. What I want to do is go through the top 5 mistakes I see new gun owners make all the time. Stay tuned for number 5 in particular, because it's arguably one of the most important ones. Let's get right into it. Okay, number 1. You need to understand your state and local laws, okay? There's a bunch of stuff that comes along with that. The first being understand your concealed carry guidelines if you intend on carrying your firearm outside the house. Certain states have constitutional carry, certain states have a concealed carry permit requirement, which more often than not requires some type of a minimal training and a certificate presented with your application. If you're planning on just using your firearm in your home for self-defense, you need to understand things like stand your ground laws, castle doctrine, things like that. Certain states have it, certain states don't. The states that don't require evasive measures and deadly force only as a last resort. And things can get really hairy if you end up shooting somebody in one of these states and you had other options to evade or escape. You could end up being the one that goes to jail, not them. So there's going to be legal fees, there's going to be attorneys involved. It would make sense prior to that to look into concealed carry insurance and to look into a local attorney that specializes in this sort of thing. Okay, moving along to number 2, and that's the safety fundamentals. I see a lot of people get their first gun and they're excited to show their friends and their family, and in the process end up flagging everybody that they show their new gun to because they don't understand the safety fundamentals. So you should treat every gun as if it's loaded, and you should not be pointing that gun at anything you don't want to destroy. You should start practicing muzzle and trigger discipline as early as possible. I urge you to look up the NRA Basic Safety Fundamentals, okay? It's a short list, and I would commit that to memory if I were you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people bring their gun home from a range trip, take the magazine out, and forget that there's a round in the chamber, and end up having a negligent discharge. So you're going to want to visually and physically inspect that chamber to make sure that there's nothing in there. On the same thread of firearm safety, if this gun is going to be stored in your house, maybe something like a home defense gun by your bedside, it needs to be in a locked box or a locked compartment or a safe or just like a handgun lockbox. Something that secures the firearm against anybody that should not have access to it gaining access. Okay, the last thing you want is a child or somebody else coming in, getting a hold of that firearm, and then something catastrophic happens. It's your responsibility as a gun owner to make sure that your firearm is secured and inaccessible to anybody except you or those that you deem you want it accessible to. Okay, number 3 is I see people not buying an appropriate holster for concealed carry. You can't just stuff this gun inside the pocket of your hoodie or down the front of your pants without the trigger guard being covered. You need a proper concealed carry holster and a proper concealed carry belt. Something that's rigid, something that's going to support the weight of the holster and the firearm loaded with ammunition so the gun's not flopping around. Now that's for concealed carry. If you're going to use it for shooting on an open outdoor range, you're going to want an outside of the waistband holster, okay? You can get away with mounting it on a concealed carry belt, or you can get a dedicated duty range or a gun belt to mount an outside the waistband holster on. Number 4, ammunition. The correct kind of ammunition and enough ammunition. So if you're buying a handgun, you're going to need to train with it. I wouldn't do what a lot of people do, which is buying 2 boxes of ammunition, which is 100 rounds, and expecting that that's going to be enough to train with. I would go buy 500 to 1,000 rounds, because you're going to go blow through that. Anytime I step foot on a range, I'm blowing through at least 200 rounds of handgun ammunition. In addition to that, I would buy about 200 rounds of whatever your self-defense ammunition is going to be, something that's a hollow point. Your training ammo is going to be a ballpoint. So buy 200 rounds of your self-defense ammunition, 500 to 1,000 rounds of your training ammunition, okay? What you're going to want to do at the range when you're training is put a handful of that concealed carry, self-defense, home defense ammunition through that pistol to make sure it cycles reliably, okay? I can't stress that enough. A lot of people will go to the range with their training ammunition, put a whole bunch of rounds down range, and not shoot their concealed carry or self-defense or home defense ammunition through their firearm. And they have no way of knowing if it's going to properly cycle the gun or if it's going to cause any malfunctions. So load up a handful of magazines with your, duty, concealed carry, home defense, self-defense ammunition, and run a whole bunch of rounds through your firearm and make sure it cycles reliably and there's no malfunctions. Save about 2 magazines, one for your firearm and a spare magazine for your home defense or for your concealed carry, okay? Now we're going to get to number 5, which is arguably one of the most important things. But before we do, if you're enjoying this video, please hit like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to get notified of new videos. Gaining new subscribers really helps us out and pushes the algorithm along, and we appreciate all your support. Now, getting into this last item, I would definitely get professional training, okay? I would not count on going to the range with your friends or with your boys to go shoot a brand new handgun if you've never shot before. You want to go get training from a reputable instructor. Take a beginner's course, spend a few $100s, take that class so they can teach you all the basic fundamentals on how to shoot a firearm effectively and properly. If you go to the range with your friends, they're probably doing things wrong. They're going to pass that wrong information on to you. You're going to grow bad habits, and then you're going to have to break them later on, and it's just going to be more work. So do yourself a favor, take a professional training class, and let them teach you the basics of stance, grip, proper trigger pull, proper sight alignment, eye dominance, things of that nature. They'll be able to pick up all the little things that you're doing wrong and correct you, so that when you do go to the shooting range to practice, you could practice those fundamentals and you could be a solid shooter, okay? You don't want to develop bad habits and have to break them later. All right, that's it, guys. That's all I have. That's my top 5 mistakes that I see new gun owners making. I hope you enjoyed the video. Get out there, keep shooting, keep training, and we'll see you in the next video.